It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Dew Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. And we had some interesting conversation. Well, we started off talking about the camp counselor, if you will, 76 years old, who laced the children's candy with a sedative. And unfortunately, we can't even rely on the people who are working in the schools, people who are working in the campsites to take care of our children. We're going to have to make sure to let our children know no more candy or cupcakes or anything from anybody other than you. You can't even trust them. So it was about 9 children, 1 or 2 adults ended up being hospitalized. And thank God everybody walked out the emergency room. No one was, sick or left to, recover too long. And we got to talking about some of those sensitive issues. Well, we ask the question, should Christians allow their children to have invisible friends? Now, we've seen this on TV. Some of us had invisible friends, and it's a gateway. It is a gateway. Although it could be innocent, they may grow out of it. I did. But it could very well be a gateway to the enemy, for the enemy, to get to our children, because we don't know who they're talking to. So the agreement was that if we do see our children talking to imaginary playmates, that we would ask, hey, who you talking to and what you talking about? Because the truth of the matter is they may not have anyone who's an adult or a friend really where they feel like it's a safe place. So we need to immediately let them know that it is a safe place and that they can speak to us. Like I said, some people grow out of it. I did, I think Shantice asked, did my imaginary friend go to church with me and my sister? I don't know. It just didn't go that far. And it stayed in childhood. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But you know what? These days, we see that there's an attack on our children, which brings us to the next question that was asked. Should Christians allow their children to masturbate? Now, we kind of went deep yesterday with the questions because these things the church does not talk about. But you know what? It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph does, because we have no other choice. We do have to speak to our children about, what's going on with their body, what their body may do, and how to respond when and if it does happen. We don't know. Again, another gateway into possibly pornography or sexual abuse by that individual later when it no longer works, when it's just you and you. We talked about a show that we looked at where, a husband and wife were actually in a dilemma because he caught her pretty much masturbating with a toy. And he was upset because he felt, hey, Aren't I here? But if you're in the, comfort and habit of pleasing yourself, sometimes people feel like I know how to please me and I'm not gonna necessarily stop. And that's what was said in the counseling session. So, you know what? Go to your counselor, your pastor. And if you don't have a pastor, you need to find one, because I'm going to tell you something. These counselors, they will not give you godly advice, and they're not designed to. That's not their job. It's your pastor's job to give godly advice. So if you want to really get answers to your remedy, to really see what did God say, then you're going to have to dig into the word of God to get that done. All right? All right. Well, that's how we spent our Tuesday. Today is Wow Wednesday, everybody. We made it halfway through the week, and we're about to get this party started. So let's go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Let's go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Tasha Rogers, and I'm back with another health tidbit. Do you see this little thing? You see this itty bitty little thing? Okay, can you see it? This is vitamin D2. Vitamin D2. Okay, this right here is 50,000 units. I make sure myself and every single patient in my practice is on this once a week. Okay, this little itty bitty thing is responsible for so much of your health, everything from depression to obesity to cancer protection. Get your vitamin D levels up, please. Okay, normal levels are anywhere between 30 and 100, but we know that your vitamin D is not therapeutically fighting disease until it's up around 70. So if your doctor tells you it's normal, if it's less than 70, please make sure you're supplementing vitamin D2. 50,000 units once a week gives you so much energy. Everybody's always like, I'm so tired, my iron must be low. Who said that? Who said that? Do you think it could be your vitamin D? It could be. Check into it, y'all.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Wow Wednesday, everybody. Giving God thanks that we made it safely through this first part of the week. Well, if you're in the room, I need to know so I can give you a hearty good morning. So let's see who's checked in already. We got our girl Ketty. Good morning, Ketty. Good morning. How are you? And thank you for checking in. We got our Serge in the house. Hey, Serge. How are you? Thanking you for joining us this morning. We have our Majesty, Sir, Your Highness. Good morning. How are you today? And we got our girl, Kyra. Good morning, Kyra. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to say a good morning to Miss Grace. How are you, Miss Grace? Thank you so much for joining us. And if we don't say hello to anybody else, we must say good morning to the ladies that hold it down. So we're going to say good morning to our girl, Anika. Hey, Anika, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to say good morning to our girl, Shantice. Hey, Shantice, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, it's Wednesday, everybody. And y'all know what time it is. It's time for our girlfriend, Vivian, and her socially conscious segment. Good morning, Viv.
morning. Happy Wild Wednesday. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Well, you know what I always like to ask? What you got for us today?
All right. Today on Socially Conscious, we are starting off with some news for our drivers. A new change in DMVs across the United States is going to be ending temporary leniency that once allowed drivers to legally continue driving with an expired license. The pandemic era grace periods have been fully rescinded, meaning drivers whose license expire must now renew immediately or risk being unlicensed, fined, or having insurance denied. In other words, excuse me, the old system that gave you a buffer between expirations and renewals is done away with. Once your license expires, it's no longer valid. This affects millions of drivers nationwide who now must treat the expiration date as the absolute deadline. And did you know, before this current change, they were giving us 2 years on an expired license to renew our license? Well, no more of that. We no longer have any time. Once your license expires, you must get a new license immediately or risk, again, being unlicensed, fined, and losing your insurance. Next, we have, in our next story, we're taking a closer look at new data about how ICE agents are operating differently depending on the politics of the state. They're saying a recent report shows that immigration arrests look very different in red versus blue states. They say in red states, nearly 60% of ICE arrests happen inside jails and prisons, mostly targeting individuals already in custody. But in blue states, about 70% of arrests happened out in the community, often involving people with no criminal record. This contrast highlights how local laws and cooperation with federal agencies affect enforcement strategies across the country. Red states emphasize collaboration with local law enforcement to arrest people already in custody, while blue states, particularly sanctuary states, led to ICE moving more on a street level tactic, often major source of often prohibiting individuals who have never been convicted of crimes. They are arresting more people out in the streets who have never been convicted of crimes, while in other states who more than likely voted for Trump, they are a lot more lenient and only arresting people who are currently imprisoned. Very interesting. Next, we are going out in Jersey, as they're saying families are facing new challenges after a major source of childcare funding has run out. They're saying back in August of 2025, New Jersey has stopped accepting new applications for its child care assistance program due to a funding shortfall. This means thousands of working families can no longer get help covering childcare costs, making it harder for parents to stay employed or attend school. Families already receiving assistance may also see their co-payments increase, adding financial pressure. Advocates warn this could lead parents to pulling children from care, disrupting early education and economic stability for many households. And our next story, sorry, I lost my place. All right, now we're up to our wow story of the week. We're talking about a unexpected package that was found on a bus heading out of New Zealand. They're saying a 27-year-old New Zealand mom was arrested after authorities found a 2-year-old girl inside of a suitcase stowed in the luggage compartment of a bus. The bus driver was the one who noticed the bag moving during a stop, and after checking, he discovered the child inside, wearing only a diaper. He reportedly says that the young girl was overheated, but thankfully she was unharmed. The woman who had boarded the bus with the child was taken into custody and appeared in court the following day. Authorities are investigating, and child welfare services are now involved to ensure the girl's safety. Police say more charges are sure to follow. And they're not saying exactly why she decided to put this child in a suitcase wearing only a diaper and then put that suitcase in the storage compartment of the bus. But again, they're investigating this whole thing. She's currently in jail waiting for, her court cases and sentencing. But thank God that bus driver found her and they were able to get her to a hospital and treat her for dehydration and other symptoms. But this has been Vivian with Socially Conscious, giving you the news that we are following. And remember, if you have any wild stories you would like to submit, please feel free to direct message me. My username on Facebook is Vivian BM, and come back every Wednesday to find out if your story has been chosen. Thank you, as always, to our loyal listeners, and thank you, Pastor Steph.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Vivian. We got to get the ladies up to talk now. Forgot to alert everybody that I'm on my way to a conference for the rest of the week. So we will have a short show today, and you've got your girl Shantice heading and leading the show for the rest of the week. So thank you, Vivian, for our stories as always. So what are we talking about? Let's get our girls Tamika and Shantice up on the screen. Let's say good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing well.
Good. Thanks. Good to hear. Did you quit on us on a Monday morning, Tamika? You left us with Pastor KL and Shantice one more again this week. Ooh, girl.
I have no control over that. But change gonna come.
All righty. Well, we missed you. So here's something interesting. So DMV federally is changing globally. And I say that because as Vivian is giving the story, she said across the board. And a lot of times that does not happen. We find it state by state, but across the board, DMV is ending this expiration date leeway. So although you have an expiration date, which is always your birthday, so that's a flag right there for you. They have allowed you since COVID to go up to 2 years, still being considered a licensed driver. Oh, Tamika, they're saying that's over. Once your birthday comes on that particular year, as of the following day, you are no longer considered a licensed driver, and you will receive fines as well as insurance expiration. What say you? What do you think about that?
I think it's about time. Traffic and streets and things that people do, out there are crazy enough. And you got the nerve to be driving without a license. Here I am. I just went through the whole process of getting my license. And I'm ever so cautious about things that people do, and I have seen some really crazy things in just my 1 year license. And, the fact that you could go that long, 2 years, without a license. You know when your birthday is coming. You should be able to look at your own ID and say, okay, so they've given you ample time. You don't have to think about, okay, what date does, when is your birthday? It's just that simple. Go ahead and get it done. Don't wait till the last minute, because at that point you should be penalized.
You're right. You're right. Shantice. I'm sorry, not Shantice. Shantice. I'm sorry. All righty. What say you about this?
I had no idea this was a thing that you had to hold, because my mind always go, I know plenty of people who got arrested because they got pulled over. I know it was pre-COVID. They got pulled over for it. So from my recollection, you were able to go and renew your license. You were able to go to the DMV. The only thing that changed was you had to start making appointments post-COVID. You couldn't just walk up in the DMV and expect to be seen. Even if you were waiting there all day, there was a chance that you wouldn't. So that's how they started. Okay, go online, set up an appointment time, and then you go up to the DMV. So this was like, wow, when Vivian was talking about it. And all of the leeway you've been giving people. So again, you've helped people fall into this bad habit of driving without a license, and now you're ready to crack down and say you better go get it together. You're still going to catch a whole lot of people out here driving with an expired license because they're in the habit of doing it. They're used to doing it now. And like we keep saying, there's no such thing as just breaking out of the habit.
Alrighty. Vivian, should they be allowed to go further, or should they be mandated to stop?
They should be mandated to stop. Like Shantice, I had no idea they were giving 2 years for you to go and fix your expired license. That's extreme. Why does a person need 2 years, even with COVID? Why did we need 2 years leniency to go and renew your expired license? So that's good that that's coming to an end. And from my knowledge, it's easy because all you have to do is go online and do it. I haven't been in a DMV in a while to renew my license, and I have to go every time my license is up for expiration. I have to go and get my eyes checked and get the doctor to fill out a form, and I have to upload that form. It's easy for us to do it. So why would it take somebody 2 years to do so? If you know this year your license is expiring around your birthday, then make sure you get on that a couple of months in advance. Why are we waiting so long to get that done?
Right, absolutely. Okay, so for the record, you have anywhere up to 8 years. So if I gave you another 2 years, that's 10 years. Are you kidding me? You ain't never that busy. I'm sorry.
Right.
Come on. Even in COVID, during COVID time, you, like Vivian said, you were allowed to go online. All you had to do was start an online account, and you could get your license in the mail, your renewed license in the mail. If you wore corrective lenses, what they did was they told you to go get from your eye doctor. You had to pass an eye test with your eye doctor, because they weren't allowing people to come into motor vehicles. So all you had to do was get that, and you sent in that via email. Yes, that means how simple could that have been? And it's like, anybody who is sitting around waiting, and this is my theory, if you're gonna sit and wait 2 years, your license don't mean that much. I'm sorry, you don't want to drive.
I agree.
Because ain't nowhere in the world. I've been driving since 92, I believe. I ain't never let my license expire, because that was like at the top of the important list. Not only that, but it's your identification. And do you realize that you cannot get employed with an expired license? So that's my next question. So you must have been on a permanent job, because we were forbidden even if all that information was still true, you hadn't moved, your birthday was still the same, we weren't allowed as HR people to even hire you with an expired license. You couldn't go into, like when you showed your identification to go into certain places, if it was expired, they couldn't accept it. So my question is, okay, so DMV allowed you to drive, but nobody else was allowing this. So that wasn't as important as you driving. So, they should have really, that was too much leeway. I'm sorry. I agree with you, ladies. Too much leeway. Not only that, let me tell y'all something. You know another reason why they slicing this DMV time? Does anybody guess? Just don't even raise your hand. Just guess.
Why? Because of the
Immigration.
Yeah.
If you got to go in to renew your license, guess what happens? We just collect you at that building. So now they're drawing all the people out. I didn't quote you, because if you allowed since 2000 to 2005, if you unnecessarily allowed people to extend their time for 2 years, you might as well go ahead and let them keep it. What's the big deal now? All of a sudden now, oh my goodness, I gotta, if my birthday is November 3rd, by November 4th, I'm no longer licensed. Years ago, you weren't licensed as of the day after your birthday. They didn't care, not until COVID. But now that we trying to catch these other people, we're gonna draw them out. Let's see what this room is talking about. Well, thank you, Surge and Majesty, for wishing me safe travels. I appreciate that. We have Surge who says, so 2 years I could wait to renew my license. Not anymore. And 2 years you will forget to renew your license. Then when you do forget, you have to purchase classes again. They know what they are doing, planning for your downfall. Absolutely, because that's what would happen. Okay, so here's what would happen. If you had what do you call it? A permit. Permits were allowed an extension, not your license. Your permit, you were allowed. And then you would have to take the test after a certain time. But you could roll off your permit for a little bit after it expired. But your license, that was never allowed. Ever, ever, ever. And the only thing you feared by allowing your permit to expire is because, like I said, after that, a certain time, you'd have to retake the test. So, yes, sir, you're right. Me and Shantice actually saw it happening on the side of the highway. They were pulling people over, only Hispanic people. That's what Majesty says. I'm telling you, this is to draw people out. This ain't because they all of a sudden. How did you possibly let people go 2 years invalidated for driving?
Right.
Wow, that is some kind of mess right there.
And they were also weaning people over, Pastor Steph, to people who owed a whole lot of tolls, money for tolls.
Okay.
And that weekend, I think it was that weekend or the weekend prior to that, it came up like all of the people they pulled over, the amount of tolls that were owed was something like $40,000 or $400,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So they, like you said, they're really trying to crack down, and that's their way of screening and weeding out who actually belongs here and who doesn't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, which takes us right into our next topic. ICE agents act differently in the red states than they do in the blue states. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
That's how I felt.
Okay. Vivian is giving us the story that the red states are collaborating with people who are already in custody versus the blue states where they're out in the community in the streets collecting people. Shatice, you got first dibs on this one.
So how are they collaborating with the people now?
Vivian, I'll give you that chance to clarify.
They're collaborating with them because they're working with the prisons and the government on collecting people that are already in prison that are undocumented, which I don't even understand that part, but whatever. Rather than how they're doing it in the blue states is just picking up people on the street, going to courthouses and collecting them. Like pretty much they're more aggressive in the states that did not vote for Trump than they are in the states that voted for Trump. They're working more with the city and the government on collecting the criminals as they said they would.
I felt the same way you did. I said at the same time, surprise, surprise. Of course, those who were not in support of him are gonna get all of the remedial behavior and activity. How are you working with them? If everybody belongs in a suite, if everybody belongs, how you now, okay, well, I'm gonna cut you this kind of break, but when we get over there, we want. And you didn't think that this was gonna be noticed. You didn't think no one was gonna pick up on this and be able to detect that the states that voted for you, you're a lot more lenient with versus the states that didn't. Come on. Things like this is why he needs to get locked up, because of things like this.
Vivian, is this fair?
No, of course not. If you gonna do the sweep, then do the sweep. I don't even get it. Like, just because the state is a different color doesn't mean that the people in the state really supported you. Or like, if you're picking up illegals in prison, but you're not doing the same out here, how does that make sense? If they're illegal, they're illegal. They need to be picked up. And like, it just doesn't, not only is it not fair, but it doesn't even make sense. Your logic doesn't even make sense. So in those states, you're taking the criminals, but in this state, you're taking the people who ain't doing nothing to nobody, who is probably good citizens and causing no harm. Like, the logic is not even logical. Like, it don't even make sense. But of course, when you're dealing with Trump, this is what you're gonna get.
Absolutely. Let's say good morning to Teresa. Hey, Teresa. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Tamika, what say you? Blue versus red. Boy, we got this going on outside of election day, girl.
So we're going to get these people by any means necessary, and it's sad, that, it should be, it's another way of slapping us in the face, of saying that, you don't matter, and the fact that you have different measures, if you're going to do something, do it the same way all the way across the board, because we didn't vote for him. Now all of a sudden, our area is under attack. However, other areas where you were voted for, things are different. If you're going to be a president for the people, then be a president for the people. It's clear that what you're doing, and how you're doing it. And it's sad because, even in the midst of you doing it, you're not even returning people back to where they came from. You're going to take somebody from France and put them in, Africa, in a place where they don't even speak the language. And that's cool. And, it adds insult to injury, and I think that, of course, it's not a surprise. We all know, we all saw that, basically we all knew that it was going to happen prior to it happening. And now here it is right now.
Absolutely. So, red versus blue outside of election time. Well, if you're trying, remember, the initial goal for him was to collect the people who were illegal criminals. That was the first thing. So if you go to the prisons in the red state and you go to the streets in the blue states, you're pretty much not targeting criminals in your blue state.
Mm-hmm.
Because your blue state, if you're a criminal, shouldn't you already be locked up?
Right.
So are you saying that in the red states, they're the only people that lock up people who are criminals, but the blue states
Right.
let people in the street, leave people on the street who are current criminals? How would you know if they're a criminal on the street? Pretty much, right? So you can already tell the imbalance of things. You can already tell the prejudice. You can already tell that you twisted. You're not doing things the right way. Because if you're going for the criminals in the blue states, why aren't you in the prisons in the blue state?
Right.
Why are you out on the street? That makes no sense whatsoever. Well, we're dealing with a nonsensical person. I was laughing when Vivian said, I can't even think of how she said it.
The
Like some
logic
ain't making sense.
ain't logical.
Yeah. The logical ain't logical. I was like, okay, that sounds like him. Yeah, he's not, as always, fair. He's not dealing logically. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a person who doesn't even care if he's exposed. He doesn't try to hide anything that he's doing. Whatever he does is out in the open, because right now we should be hearing they've attacked the prisons first in every state. Forget about red and blue. It should be equal. Then you went from the inside prison until you exhausted that. And then you know what? Yeah, there are some criminals roaming the streets. We talk about it all the time. So did they ever find the ones in New Orleans? That last one?
They got everybody. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, just kind of like way off topic. But it just made me think about when he was on the thing, free, like escaped. So we do know that there are people who are roaming the streets who are actually criminals. But for some reason, they're on the streets. But you know what? Just be fair. Just be equal. At least, even if people can't agree with your tactics, with your behavior, with your decisions, with your rules, just be fair. Just be equal. But he is so prejudiced till it can't be hidden. It is like all out, all over the place. Yep. So, it's this is shameful. It is really shameful that you just care so little that you don't care what people think or see. So he's just going to continue to go on. And listen, y'all, I got a question. Can y'all believe it's only been 8 months?
No.
That's it?
Wow.
It hasn't been 4 years yet? Child.
Can y'all believe it's only been 8 months?
That's because he started with his shenanigans before election even took place. That's why.
Yeah, he knew he was going to win. And man, oh man, he has been rolling ever since. So if he's been able to make this level of an impact by now, what in the world is coming down the pipeline? I'm coming back to that. As a matter of fact, before we go on, what's your next fear? What's your next concern? And I'll put it like that. So we've seen this whole thing with the immigration. We've seen this thing with the tariffs. What's your next concern that you feel he's going to pull out his hat and it ain't going to be good for our, blue states, if you will? Tamika.
Income. Whether people are aware, there are two things that concern me. There are two things that concern me: is healthcare for everyone at large, especially those that have Medicaid. What we're not aware of is there's a lot of transitioning, and a lot of people are going to be affected, especially those that are dealing with behavioral health. In case management, there's a major shift, and it's already affecting a lot of people. I fear for those that are bedbound, that need assistance. Those are things that have already been pending, and there's so much shifting, as well as Medicaid paying for things that you normally would get payment for. Medicaid will cover it. They're not doing it anymore. And then the second thing would be our children. We see so many finances decreasing in schools. Children are pretty much to the point where they're going to be on their own. You just kind of fend or figure it out. We survived with certain things, but we have a different dilemma or different breed of children, and they are affected with everything. Every little thing that you take from them, they feel it. And so those are my two major areas of concern.
Okay. Shantice, now that we've seen the damage that's already been done, he's got 3 and change. What do you think is coming down the pipeline? What's your concern?
My concern is that he literally tries to start lynching black men. Like all of these random, I'm picking you up, I'm picking this group up, I'm picking that group up. Next is just going to be random, black men are going to be walking down the street from work to work, from school to school, dropping their kids, picking up their kids, and men are just going to be jumping out of vans, throwing something over their head, and their families are never going to see them again. And he's going to feel so justified. He's going to try to think of something that is going to justify, he didn't have any warrants, but he didn't appear in child support court. So, we had to take it. Like, it's something stupid. He's going to think of something stupid to try to justify this. And it's going to send a whole, then the fear from that, because he tends to believe that he's the Lord of this world, where everyone is going to continue to just take the buffoonery that he's putting out, and no one is going to start losing their mind, or no group of people going to start losing their mind and going to start, as they say in the street, clapping back. So you already saw, whether he's told them to do it or not, you already saw the people bum rush the White House. You don't want us bum rushing the White House, because that was y'all doing that. When we bum rush something, it ain't still going to be standing. It's not still going to be standing. So he's going to do that or something like that. And this side is, God forbid, will lose it. And it's going to be something that he's not going to be prepared for. He's not going to be able to prepare his people for. And it's not going to be no quick bounce back. Like, look how they were able to bounce back from that. There's not going to be a bounce back like that. And now it's going to not only set him back, but unfortunately, anyone else who would be coming in behind him are going to have to deal with the residuals of his, actions because of all of the retaliation. So I just fear that it's going to be that, and then it's going to be a real out war between one side of the fence and the other, because unfortunately, this side of the fence is not going to be trying to figure out, well, you good, but your people's ain't, your man's ain't, he ain't, like, they're not, no, it's just, if you look like that, you getting it on sight. Like that's my fear. It's just going to be this crazy war that he's going to start and he's not going to be able to finish at all.
Wow. Vivian, what's your concern that we might end up walking into?
War on this land. I know they got war going on out there in Gaza and all of that, but my biggest concern is always that another country is going to get so fed up that it's going to hit this land. It's going to be bombings in the U.S. That's my biggest concern, because he just doesn't care who he offends. He doesn't care who he harms. He just don't care. He feels like he is untouchable. He acts as though he is untouchable. And my biggest concern is that there will be a war on our side of the fence.
Interesting, ladies. Where is my concern? My concern is in 2 areas. My concern is Medicare, health insurance, as with Lady Tamika, because so many people are affected by it, whether it's Medicaid or Medicare, it's going to be affected. People will be affected by it. And at that point, my question becomes, are you trying to terminate lives? Is that your underhanded way? Because people who have money, they can get the meds. Okay, if they start charging you. I remember, I think I said the other day, somebody went to get my meds and it was like $400 something. I was like, what? You can leave that right there on that table. I'm going holistic. Because you have another choice. Yeah, you have another choice. I surely couldn't afford no $400 and something. That's outrageous. And for you to even quote that to me, I'm not blaming the pharmacist, but I'm blaming the powers that be. You need to protect us. So why are we? It's bad enough that we, other countries don't have to pay at all, but we have to pay, and then at these prices. The other thing I'm concerned about is, like, it has been said, war. I remember a month or so ago when they said he had, launched or pressed a button, however you want to say it. And we have someone who we know is about to deploy for almost a year. And immediately I reached out to her and I'm like, did they send you out? Because they said they sent out troops. And I'm saying to myself, you over here citing all kinds of problems.
Right.
And you ain't got nobody at risk of going into war.
Right.
So you don't care. It's all these people who are in these reserves and in the active military and things like that. And you could care less the lives, because in your opinion, the lives that will be affected will be more on the blue side than on the red side.
Right.
A lot of people on the red side ain't going to no military, because most people are going to the military these days because there is no war, and you can get home loans and your school paid for, and that's their angle. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing that you have to do, pretty much. But when they start citing war and all that kind of stuff, and he could bring back a draft, it's just like the possibilities are there. So my prayer is that he is stopped from above, where he's not going to be able to do as much, because from what I understand, even when he sent missiles over, everybody didn't know he was doing it. Even his own people claimed they didn't know he was doing it. And he didn't go through the proper channels that a president should have to go through or would have to normally go through, and he did it anyway. So this is the kind of person we're dealing with. So yeah, these all of your concerns, these things are valid, because he is a loose cannon. So we have a lot to be concerned about. Let's see. Anika says, I'm with you, Shantice. They're itching to get people of color riled up for martial law. Yeah. So all of this is, to me, an angle of destroying our side. And I'm not even talking about blacks. I'm just talking about people, in this economic status, black and brown people, just the whole 9 yards. He doesn't care. He's not a president who's getting into this because he cares for the country. So this here is something completely separate and apart. Then, we have had other presidents that weren't on the up and up necessarily, but Lord knows we have never had this. This is outrageous. All right.
I'm sorry, Pastor Steph. To
Sure.
Charlene's point, you think about us. We, not picking, but just being honest. We are one of the races that have a plethora, an array. When you look at us, we go from the very, very light to the very, very dark, and a lot of times some of us can be mistaken for another identity, sometimes we can be indigenous. When I look at my brother in certain areas, people always confuse him for being Dominican. We go places, people start talking to him in Spanish. He's like, what? And, because of that, it wouldn't behoove me that one day, you know, somebody just walking, like Shanti said, you know, you just get caught, you know, and you speak perfect English, you don't have an accent, but because of what you look like or because of what they're trying to do and fill their agenda, you get caught or you get got.
Yeah, it's very possible. It's very possible. And that's the sad part because there's no criteria whatsoever.
Right.
All right. So that moves us into the next. New Jersey families are facing child care funding that's ending. And who does that with the cost we talked about a while ago with Vivian, the cost of child care? How do you possibly take that assistance away from them? What do these people do? You know, this is a cross dilemma where now you have their co-payments will increase, as well as now you have families without jobs now, because how can I afford to pay for both? You know, rent and this and go to work. It doesn't work. Somebody's got to stop working just to keep the kids, because Vivian did a story where the child care costs exceeded your rent payment. Who we up to? Vivian, you got the first dibs on this one.
Can't hear you.
Is she talking?
And she's trying to get her audio together.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, but we've seen this coming. Like you said, we've had stories about this happening or the possibility of this happening for a while now. And it's unfortunate that it's starting anywhere, but you know, it's unfortunate that New Jersey is seeing it right now. But we knew it was coming. We did the story about how they're saying childcare prices is more expensive than college tuition. How does it cost more to put my child in childcare than it does for someone to go to college? This is getting insane. And for you to take away any type of assistance from people, how are we supposed to manage? This is why we're going to start seeing more and more stories of these daycares that's really a front, because people are just wicked. So now I see the need for childcare. So I'm going to put it out there that I'm a daycare, and people are going to be sending their kids here, and they're just going to be getting harmed left and right because I can't afford to send my child to a reputable place. So I just got to take whatever I can get. Or I'm leaving my child with so-and-so and they're getting molested or hurt. Like, it's just going to cause so much chaos, and the war on children is just going to get worse and worse because I can't afford. I have to make the decision of either working or being a stay-at-home parent. And who could afford that? No one can afford that. So it's just going to get worse and worse when it comes to the terrorizing of our kids. And it's sad. It's so sad.
Wow. Lady Tamika.
Yeah, I'm just looking, you know, I agree with Vivian with regard to that. You know, when I can't take care of my child, you know, I'll find me, you know, I'll go with baby daddy, who we know, you know, and let's just say in this particular circumstance, is not fit to take care of this child. He already didn't want the child. And now I'm leaving my child in his hands, which can cause trauma. We can see you know, things like I work for the post office and I got a post office truck and I got the baby in the back of the post office truck because I don't have any means. You know, we have, you know, I'm gonna leave the children at home and figure out what's going on. Now you got a fire and you trying to figure out, you know, the child is calling you. The whole kitchen is ablaze, you know, because the child doesn't know doesn't have enough, you know, knowledge to know, leave the house, call the fire department. You know, all of these things can transpire when mom doesn't have enough. You know, she leaves with family members that, you know, may not necessarily have that child's best interest at heart. You know, all of these things can happen. And If you don't believe that there's an attack on our children, it's right there, plain in front of your face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shantice, what say you? I mean, this is big. This is big.
Again, where is the focus? This is something that is mandatory. I need someone to care for my child. I need someone reputable, someone trustworthy, someone like Vivian said, who's actually doing this, who actually passed the screenings and the testings and whatever other requirements in order to open a daycare, whether it's on another property or in your home. Because this is why I wake up today and I'll have a daycare. This is why they work. This is why they're in business. Because they'll cut the fees some because they know people are desperate. You cut the fees, you get what you pay for. Not to say that things don't happen in, like the more reputable, more known facilities and daycare centers, but it's a lot more likely to happen with the people who wake up today, start an Instagram page and put daycare in the bio. Like, come on, like why you just setting people up for failure? It's like, come on, this is meant. As Pastor Steph said, I know parents who they were like, listen, I had to stay home, and this was years ago. I had to stay home because by the time we did the numbers, it cost more for both of us to go to work than, and to send the child to daycare. So one of us got to stay home, but then you're still in the deficient because you need two incomes in order to run the home, even if you didn't have the child, so it's just disgusting. But look at where the attention is going. The attention is going to focusing on the red states who paid you some attention and you bargaining with them to do whatever stupidness. Meanwhile, people over here has no one to watch their child, and then you wonder why people result into committing crimes and doing all of these things. It's like, come on, like, what do you know? We can't just excuse them, but what do you really expect at the end of the day? People, you are putting them in a desperate situation. And then you act all flabbergasted and taken aback when you hear these crimes. What are people supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh, we got to check in I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We got to check in from Christ Alone. Hey, welcome back. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Christ Alone says, people be leaving their kids in the car. Yeah. That's all we talk about here. I forgot him in the car. They left him in the car. Kids are dying when left there because they have no one to watch them. Yeah. Yeah, this is serious stuff here. Serge says crazy childcare is more expensive than college tuition. It is. That is just mind-blowing. I gotta tell you. And Anika says, and the red states pay less taxes overall due to low income and number of people and pulling more resources than blue states. And we've talked about that here, where they're always looking at one side, saying that, they're draining the system, when on the other side, there's a lot of activity that goes on that no one really talks about. Mm-hmm. I think it was just yesterday I said something about the child care when my girls were going to child care, all three of them. And I'm telling you, from Shantice being born all the way till Tamasia being born, I had at that time available to me a child care program that supplemented your payment. So based on your income, it was on a sliding scale. Based on your income, you would pay the difference. So the government would pay $85 and you'd pay $20, a week. And they called it Agency of Child Development at that time. And boy, it was a godsend because it allowed parents to go to work with a peace of mind that these people were vetted, that they, you could take your children there and you didn't have to worry necessarily about how high it was, because you only paid, I think it was 30%. I think it was, if I can remember correctly, it was like 30%. And that was like a godsend. And I remember when Shawnee's had Mariah, and I'm like, why are you paying so much for childcare? I said, why you don't go and apply? She kept saying, Mommy, it's not there. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not there? Because all I'm thinking is from 1987 all the way to what, 1990 somebody, when Tamaja went to kindergarten. It was there. I was like, what do you mean it's not there? And that's when you saw the surge of childcare costs, because they knew that you had to pay. And just like you ladies have said, now you're getting substandard care. Now you're getting the boyfriends and these people watching your kid because you got to work, and you got to keep food on the table, and you got to keep rent paid. You got to keep clothes on the child's back. And now who's paying the price? The children. Right. And my thing is, all right, so even if you wanted to cut costs, you looking at what's happening here. Why would that even, listen, we're going to carve something out from somewhere. Pull some of these gardens. Listen, here's my thing. There are so many, what did we say, Viv, a couple of weeks ago? Like millions of dollars, like $10 million or something. He was putting into Adams.
The green, yes.
The green, $30
green
million.
spaces, yes.
Right. So my thing is, there are enough people who really wouldn't mind going out there, and they have a green thumb, and they would love to help to build their community. Take that $10 million and put it into childcare. If you took and you even, let's say, forget about the sliding fee, but let's just say the parameters. There were parameters of income. From this income to this income, you would just be eligible for $50 contribution. For some people, that would really make a difference. You know, of course, it might not make much of a difference for Vivian as it would for Shantice, or Shantice the way it would Tamika. But imagine having some assistance.
Right.
Is better than not having any assistance. So this country got money. This country has money.
Please.
It has proven it has money. So why are our children suffering? When are we gonna get? See all of this, like you said, Shantice, this concentration on cleaning up the streets with the illegals. Yo, come on. That money, listen, or look at all the ICE agents they're paying, and they ain't paying them no 50 cents either.
Right.
So you have a surge of employees, and you have a surge of money that you're paying out every month. So now take that and put it into childcare. Come on. Stop. Do better. This country can do better by its children. Even if you want to put it like that, the children need you. This is a scary situation. And my thing is, you remember a couple of months ago, there was I think it was the governor. It wasn't a couple of months ago. It was a little further back. But the governor, I think it was him, in one of the states had voted for keeping the guns. Until they went in and shot up the bowling alley with the babies in it, and these other places, and then all of a sudden there was concern. And admittedly, he said, you know what? I voted this way for guns. He said, but now that it's hit home, I can't follow that law anymore. Why does it have to hit home? Why does it have to be, it's my people, my family, my neighbors, my loved ones, my friends? Why? But before we see the concern.
I don't even see that caring to Trump. I don't see that making a difference to him. They could come and shoot.
It doesn't.
It's his front door with his wife, his children walking right up out of there, him, he would still be holding up the ballot in his hand that voted, but I'm for guns. It would it wouldn't even matter. It's disgusting.
No, we're not under the regime of a person who has a caring heart. And that's my point. It shouldn't have to hit home in order for people to start, waking up. If you're reading the news, you see how this is affecting people. We talk all the time about these girls, these women who leave these children with these boyfriends and things like that, and how unwise it is. But you also realize that a lot of that comes from a lack of resource. I can't afford, if I'm holding down a job at Target, Walmart, and it's because I have, let's say, a subsidy on my housing, I can pay my rent if I keep this kind of job.
Right.
I can get SNAP benefits because of my income.
Right.
Then what? You ain't got no money for childcare. Not at these numbers, because the rent that took your money, your whatever else you have to get, you have to pay utilities sometimes. Where's the money coming from? So now I leave you with the boyfriend, the baby's father, and now the child is dead or injured so badly. So there's just a lack of concern that's unbelievable. Lack of concern that is unbelievable. We have our wow story today. Woo! Talk about an unexpected package, an unexpected luggage piece, where the bus driver finds this piece of luggage moving underneath the bus and opens it up only to find a child in it with just a diaper. Viv, did they say how old the child was? Did I miss that piece?
2 years old.
Oh,
A lot more coherent at 2.
oh. So when we talk about the state of this world and people can't handle it, and I want to go there. We just got finished talking about, a whole state that's losing childcare funding, assistance, that we know would make a big difference in their lives, in their pockets, in the children's lives. How is this behavior indicative of just possibly being the weight of the world on your shoulders and you break? And again, the children suffer. Shantice.
There is no peace when every second of the day I have a high concern, because again, it's one thing if I gotta eat a bag of chips for dinner and it's only me. It's another thing when it's dinner time and I look over and there's a set of eyes looking at me crying because he or she is hungry. Now I have to concern. Now I can't go to bed early. There was a saying going around a while ago, like especially people on this side of the fence. We don't want to get up out of bed because we know we're going to spend money, and not even
wow,
and not even just frivolously, but like you have to spend money. You have to go grocery shopping. You have to pay for car fare to get where you're going. You have to buy this. You have to pay for that. You have to. So now you have another human that you have to provide for. And as we just got finished stating, there's nothing working in my favor. I'm not really trying to be, because it's nothing for me to be a law-abiding citizen, because I'm not about that crime life. But now that crime life is looking a little appealing, or this insanity life is looking a little more appealing, because I'm just tired of having to be concerned and worried about everything every second of the day. So now it probably cost me about $30 to put this 2-year-old in the seat on this bus, but it's free if I just tuck you in this luggage. And maybe I'll leave a part of the zipper open so you can breathe. And you're old enough to need me to leave you a little ventilation, but you're young enough where you can't climb up out this luggage yourself. So we just gonna do this, probably give you a piece of candy with some sedative in it so you can stay asleep until we get to where we go. But you just happen to wake up quicker than you were supposed to, and now the bus driver goes to retrieve the luggage and get all the luggage from under there, and now you move it. Thanks. Thank you. It's just way too much. It's way too much for people to have to be concerned with. And again, everyone's back is up against the wall to it now. As Christ on them said, people are forgetting their children in the car, or now putting their children. It's like everybody's losing their mind. Because it's like, I'm thinking too much. It's just too much. It's too much to be thinking. So now it's just like, whatever come to mind, whatever the enemy is able to whisper in my ear to do, I don't have the energy to combat him right now. Like that's what's happening. People don't have the energy. It takes energy to tell the devil, no, shut up, get away from me. It's so much easier to just say, you know what, you're right, and do what he's influencing you to do. It's just too much. It's sad.
Wow.
And it's not giving an excuse, but that's what's happening.
No, it's you made some very good points. Vivian, what's your thought? This is indicative of just the breakdown of life.
And just the lack of care and concern for the powers that be. So where she felt it that necessary to get to wherever she was going, that she bought this ticket, possibly couldn't afford the second ticket for her child, and decided this was the route to go. Like, we really have to take into consideration how low people will go. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's any care and concern about that. I really don't. Because if we can sit here on this show and think of all the possible outcomes of their decision making, there's no way in the world that they're not able to do the same. They just don't care. Right. They just do not care. And that's just where we are in this world. That I'm going to make my decision, and whoever it hurts, so be it. Because my biggest concern is the money going over here. My biggest concern is me getting what I want from this person or that person. It's just, there's just no care about what the people who you are hurting, how low they will have to go to get just the bare necessities. And just the mental state of people. She didn't even think to take the luggage in with her so she could maybe, let the baby out. Or why would you put it in the luggage compartment? You have no access to her at that point.
Right.
But she thought enough to only put a diaper on her. So she didn't
so she went off sweat.
Right. But you didn't think enough to make it more accessible to you. It's just like, it's just sad how far this world has fallen. It really is. Mm-hmm. And the people that need to be making better decisions, their care and concern is just in all the wrong places.
Right.
Absolutely. This is scary. And that's what I thought about. All right. So every day, every morning, we talk about some level of child killing, child neglect, child hate. Every single day, this comes up. And, we talk about, does the punishment fit the crime? We talk about, the circumstance in that story. And just today, it was like, okay, I have two millennials on with me right now. And, how do you see? Because that's what's happening. This is who's doing the killing these days. The millennials. It's not many people in X And in the Z's, they're kind of following suit behind the millennials in their childcare and their parenting. So this is scary where, you know, this is what we've come to. This is how, you know, people are facing poverty. This is how people are facing lack of support. You know, they don't have any family support. Family is not family the same as family.
Right.
Is not connected. And I'm going to leave it to you too, Vivian. I'm going to lose you first. But I want to talk about that real quick. And we got to check in from Pastor KL. Hey, Pastor KL. And Sir says, that's the craziness I've heard today, like how you put a child in a luggage. You know, we're talking about how people don't have the support, you know, that was out here at one point. You know, people are disengaging from family. People are not as helpful anymore. They don't have the connections. It seems like they should be able to. But Viv, what do you see these days when it comes to, you know, how people are kind of like out here by themselves?
I don't know if it's the front that people put on because of the social media influence that the millennials are just so enslaved to, that you're more concerned with pretending that you're not struggling than you are of telling people I need help. So you're just going to put it out there like you're living your best life when you're really out there struggling to the point to where you decide to kill your child or leave them somewhere, or you're reaching out for help but from the wrong people, and now your child is being molested or hurt because you're trying to keep it under wraps that you're struggling more than you actually are. Or I don't know if it's the fact that this generation is just so selfish that I could possibly know that my so-and-so is struggling, but I got my own cares and concerns. I got my own problems. I can't look over to you and help you until I get myself together. I don't have the room and capacity. I got to protect my peace. I got to protect my mental space. So I don't have the room and capacity to help you right now. So I'm going to just leave you. I'm going to pray for you. I hope I hope you're doing all right, but I just don't have the space to help you right now. It's just a selfish world that we're living in.
Wow. Good points. Well, if we don't get a chance to come back around, we thank you for your contribution today. And we pray you have a blessed day, Vivian.
Thank you. You too. Have a good day, ladies.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All righty. Lady Tamika, as quickly as we can have you on, we're talking about this lack of support that people have. It's not like it used to be, which is kind of driving people into this behavior and into these alternatives.
Yeah, everywhere that you used to look, is different. Even going to Big Mama's, Big Mama Medea, whatever you want to call her, she was always available. But, now because children are having children so early, Big Mamas are still out in the street partying, so we're not concerned about, hey, I had mine, you have yours, and with debt being so big and, everybody trying to cover their own selves, mama's trying to take care of her own situation. And a lot of times, mama has responsibility for her child and other children. And she don't have time for an extra one. Sometimes she may not be able to have the availability. It's not that she doesn't want to, it's that she's got her own responsibilities, and this is what leads to this type of chaos. You leaving a baby in a car, putting a baby in a suitcase. You can't love your child. You can't love your child when you look at that child and put that child in a suitcase. I understand that there's a hardship there, but I guess your thought is better to get rid of my child, than to leave it in the hands of somebody else. It's either way, you know, it's so hard, because when you leave your child in the hands of somebody else, you know, then you got to worry all day long, because okay, what if such and such, what if this happens? As a parent that cares, you know, you can't take the child to work, you know, okay, so then what means do? You leave the child in the bathroom? Again, you still, you know, are opening up the hands of putting your child to detriment. So I guess I can't fathom why this mother would put this child in the suitcase, but just, you know, where are the handies that used to be there? They're all gone. They're all handling their own situation and are not available like they used to be. And my heart goes out to anybody who has that hardship now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shantice, what goes on in your head when we talk about this breakdown?
You know, the whole time Lady Tamika was speaking, I was envisioning, I don't know how many of the viewers used to watch New York Undercover, and there was an episode where a mom, she was kind of a young mom. She couldn't have been any older than maybe like late 20s. She had 2 children, and she staged a robbery, like a carjacking. But she ended up shooting both her kids and killing them. One was, I think, like 4, and the other one was about maybe 7. And her thing was, you know, she ended up being a single mom. She wasn't prepared to be a single mother. The father was still in their lives, but she wanted them to be a family. And she started dating this other guy, but the guy left her because he didn't want the kids. Like, he was cool with the kids, but she felt like he didn't want the kids. So her thing was, well, let me just take these kids out. I could always have more kids. And again, it's going back to that, what are my resources? Is my family set up the way I would want it to be? So now I'm going to end up just doing this, and I'll be able to recover later. And people are just losing their mind. And another thing that came to mind was, God is just allowing us to see the result of telling him, not only am I good off of you, God, but I'm not about to give you to my kids either. I'm not about to give my kids to you. And he says, after insisting, after a while, he says, okay, I'm going to fall back a little, and he leads you to a reprobate mind, meaning he leaves you to your own mind, and he leaves you to where the enemy can now help influence you on things you're already going to do. Because we have to remember, the enemy cannot make us do anything, and he's not going to try to get us to do something that is like completely out of the realm for us, because that's too much work for him. So whatever he already sees he can play on is what he's going to play on. And that's what we're living in right now, where it's just immediately, it's like last resort. Millennials, I keep saying this is the worst generation of parents ever. Like, we suck as a whole. I'm sorry. As a whole, if the shoe fits, wear it. As a whole, it ain't happening. Because again, we already don't want to be disciplined. So we're having and raising these undisciplined children. They're running crazy. Our mind going crazy. And now, instead of trying to figure out how we can get better, how we can help to make them better, us better, somebody got to go. That's what comes to mind. Somebody got to go. And unfortunately, as Pastor Steph said, it's always the children who end up suffering that fatality. You got to go. It has to be you. And we don't have I was just telling you, Pastor Steph, yesterday, like, when you were our age, y'all already owned homes and y'all had multiple cars and all that. We gotta split this loaf of bread now. Everything is so expensive. Everything is so, we want to make it on our own, but we have to do the whole susu thing and the whole let's get together and collaborate and think, you know, you're blessed if you're able to find someone who's like-minded, who's willing to do that. But we can't just up and do things the way y'all could and the baby boomers couldn't, everything, because everything is just so stacked against us. Like, they raising everything, but they're lowering the income. It's just, so now you already wake up feeling defeated. And if you don't have God, that's how you go throughout the rest of your day. You wake up defeated, you move throughout the day defeated, you go to bed defeated, only to wake up the next day and do it again. And then after a while, people don't want to try anymore because they're not trying God. They keep trying on their own. That's why you're staying defeated, because you're not
Right.
reaching for the ultimate help. So you're going to keep waking up, moving throughout the day, going to bed defeated, until one day you finally snap and end up doing something stupid like this. Putting your kid in the luggage, forgetting them in the car, killing them. Somebody asks you to babysit their child, you want to, but now you're smoking weed and you end up killing the kid. It's just, no one's reaching for the
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for your contribution today.
Yeah.
And we pray you have a blessed day. Now, before we go, because I did say we would have a shorter show today, and we look like we're running right into 9:00. Well, we've got some new information that has been provided to us via YouTube, and we're going to monopolize on that information. Now, on our podcast side, we don't have individual engagement. So, they don't give us those statistics. We get statistics based on country and like who has the most listens, or our top 5 countries that listen to us. So it's different than the statistics that we just stumbled on here on YouTube. But we have, let me make sure I'm saying this right. We have some statistics that give us our top fans, our top viewers. And, when I say to you all every morning, hey, say good morning to Pastor Steph, I can see how many people are actually viewing. And remember, it's a shared view between Facebook and YouTube. It merges the two. So I can just see, like, if there's 5 people, if there's 85 people, I can see how many. But when I say good morning, only a few of you actually say good morning. So I can't tell you who's actually ultimately in the room. But YouTube actually keeps the statistics of our top fans. And it also has an engagement monitor. So we're going to begin every 2 weeks to give our top fan and the top engager. So it's merged, okay? We have no control over this. This is information that's given to us. So please do not, say we cheating and all this kind of stuff. We ain't got no favorites. But yeah, it's the information is out there. And Shantice, actually, I always tell you, Anika and Shantice are behind the scenes, and they're seeing things that I would never see. I'm just straight in front of the camera. I don't know what's going on with statistics or anything like that in YouTube. I'm only getting the information. So I'm like excited because I actually get to see who's there, and they give like the top people. And when she gave me like some of the names, I'm like, they on? And she was like, yeah. And she sent me the snapshot of who was there. And I'm like, oh. So listen, you better start engaging, because they're merging these statistics and they're going to let us know. And we're going to give a prize. And our most accessible prize is embroidery. Shantice, you got something?
Yes, it's actually our Due Time apparel that Pastor Steph is actually wearing right now. And this is just one, starting out with this being just one of the prizes that the top fans of his Due Time with Pastor Steph will be receiving.
All right. So it does not have to be this color. No. You can, get this done in whatever color you like. Am I correct, Shantice?
Correct.
All right. And there will be a discount for any subsequent order. of merchandise. We're happy to, let you know that, if you purchase, you can always purchase is Due Time merchandise. If you're a viewer, if you're an engager,
Then
you
you
might
get the
win one.
discount.
Right.
So don't be
If
telling your cousin to message. It's personalized to try to get the discount, because we'll be able to see if your cousin be on live and engaging with us.
All righty. Well, Pastor KL is, I can't see. Thank you. Where's my shirt? I engage every day. You got it. You got it. You got it.
We don't count.
I'll make sure the merchandise is sent to you as a Due Time crew member.
Yes.
I will make sure, as Pastor Steph, I will make sure they honor the fact that you're a Due Time crew member. But Shantice has the statistics in front of her. So, who won this week?
This week, we have as our top fan Majesty this week. That came out. Yes. So Majesty has been engaging the most. So not only on, but engaging. Of course, you have to be on in order to engage. But yes, he is the top one for this week.
And this is going to be done bi-weekly. So again, we can't, we don't have any control over this. I was surprised when she sent me this here. I was like, wow. So we congratulate Majesty.
Congratulations.
And so you have to, Shantice, tell them how to reach you for the information for the colors and things like that.
Okay, so in order to reach us for the information for the colors, you're going to go on, see that Instagram thing right there, at the embroidery style. Just send a message, let us know that you will like Due Time. So just message Due Time Apparel, and then we will contact you and let you know. Then you will be able to choose your colors right then and there. Or you can comment right here as well. Comment right now, Due Time Apparel, and we can get that started right now. We will contact them and everything will start getting situated. You can let us know the color, your size, which color threading you would like. Again, as Pastor Steph said, this was just something that was designed specifically for her. So if you would like those colors, they can make these colors. If you like to choose it, they can make another set of colors, however you would like to do. So either put in the comments here, and listen, you putting in the comments here can possibly help to boost
push
your
you. Right. Just realize that. Right.
Because I just realized I started to give another route, and it wasn't so I was about to reiterate to comment here. I'm like, wait, this is helping them. Yes. So put Due Time Apparel here in the comments. Okay. You don't have to leave here and contact is personalized on Instagram. Put it right here. Pastor Steph is able to still access these comments and everything even after the live. So you don't have to be contacted right now. She can still go back and let us personalized know that so and so would like to put in an order. So right now, comment Due Time Apparel. And I actually like those colors with Pastor Steph. Those are nice. So pretty.
Thank you kindly. I like that it's personalized.
Yes.
So remember, we don't only get the statistics for the top fan and engager. There's what, 5 people? How many people do they give?
Yes, they give the top 5 or 6. One quick second, I can let you know right now. Yes, they give the top 5.
All right. So the top 5 people actually have an opportunity to get reduced price.
Yes.
On your merchandise. So you don't have to necessarily win, but if you win, you get it for free. So in 2 weeks from today, mark your calendar, Shantice. We'll get those statistics again, and we'll see about the winner. We'll see who wins. So Thank you so much, Shantice. Now, there's another announcement that I want to make. Shantice and I will, and Brother Ainsley, that Brooklyn guy, will be on My Two Cents tonight. And we will be playing Rapid Fire. And wow, was it fun the last time. So pretty
Hilarious.
much, Rapid Fire is you take a throwback show, throwback movie, and it's a movie that you feel you know everything about this movie. And we give you 8 questions that you have to answer in a limited amount of time. Well, whoever wins, whoever gets the most answers correct in that amount of time is the winner. And they will also be getting some apparel that's personalized that indicates that they're a winner. Also, we're preparing for our My Two Cents Movie and TV Awards. So we're taking any nominations from 2024 sitcoms, series, movies, ethnic minorities. We're not just saying minorities because there are a whole lot of minority categories. Ethnic minorities. And we have noticed, because we've been monitoring for the past 2-3 years up close, the lack of attention and notoriety that the ethnic minorities have received from Hollywood. Golden Globes, Oscars, SAGs. If you go back, because they have every year, if you look at the winners, if you look at the nominees,
Right,
we're not there. Right, we're not present at all. We're not present at all. I'm sorry, Abbott Elementary. I'm sorry, that ain't happening. I mean, it's a good show, whatever, but that is not going to be the only notice we get throughout your entire list of shows and movies and directors and producers and writers, and it's crazy. So we've taken the time to review, and we review everything. We are not limited on what we review, but for this particular award show, we're going to do it virtually in a couple of months. But starting tonight, we're going to be announcing nominations. So we do have people who are already set up for the rapid fire game, and they will be also giving their nominations for anything, any series, any comedy show, drama, movie, whether it's in the theaters or streaming, like direct to streaming, it doesn't matter, as long as it falls in the ethnic minority category. And we're going to be announcing that tonight. And like I said, in a couple of months, we will be having our virtual awards. Some of you, if you want to, you can be announcers. You know, we can easily do that. With some of you fans and engagers, we can actually give you some of those spots to, recognize and nominate those who people, it's like a People's Choice Award, if you will. So we're going to be on tonight at 7:30 right here on this YouTube channel. And we're going to be on live Facebook, Coach for Christian Life. So please come and join us.
Interesting selections tonight. Because I have some people who are choosing throwback movies and throwback sitcoms that I'm going to be quizzing them on. So it's not just one. Yeah, so I'm like really, the type of questions I'll be asking. So I'm hoping, hint, y'all started rewatching them things and studying them, because I'm going in with the details of the questions.
So give us one, either the sitcom or the movie.
A movie that was chosen, someone's favorite throwback movie, was House Party.
Oh,
yes. So I'm like, already when they sent it to me, certain scenes were coming to mind, and I'm like, see, they thinking I'm about to ask the average questions. No, y'all better do your homework, because I want to know the name of the camera they used to film the movie. So figure it out. I'm sure
Oh, my
those directors
goodness.
and writers are still
Wow.
around. Figure it out.
Wow.
Yes.
Now
so
wait,
I'm excited.
Majesty, the one who just won the merchandise, he was in our last rapid fire. Which movie did he choose?
Oh, he chose Poetic Justice and lost. So now he claims he's coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, now I remember.
He claimed that and he lost.
Well, listen, here's the funny part. The winner won from Poetic Justice.
Yes.
So listen, you got to have to step your game up because she smoked him. I'm sorry,
Yes,
I'm sorry, Majesty. I'm
she
sorry. You might be an engager and top fan right now, but man, she smoked you. And she really blew everybody away. She knew the most about her movie than anyone else did about their movie.
Yes.
So it wasn't about, one of the sitcoms I got that was chosen, Scary Movie.
That's not a sitcom, that's a movie, Pastor Steph.
I said a movie or a sitcom.
Oh. All I heard was
we could tell you gonna fail tonight's test because you ain't listening.
Nope.
It's any series, any comedy show, any movie, throwback. Can't be something. It can't be, well, we don't want it to be. If you want, okay, we'll allow it. But it's primarily for the throwbacks, and that's what we got. One of the I think I got like 6 people. I got 6 people who is joining us tonight, and that was one of the submissions.
Scary movie. Goodness.
Yeah, so that's gonna be real interesting and very funny. So listen, make sure you subscribe, and this way you don't have to remember all of the activity that goes on this particular channel. And I gotta tell you, it's Due Time with Pastor Steph. With all due respect, with Shantice and V, your 2 millennials that were here a little while ago. Those are our Christian-based shows. That's what we do. Those are Christian-based shows. But listen, we're everyday people, and we love TV, we love movies, and we're doing everything from, to also let you know that Christians have fun. We're not just sitting up in church all day. We have a good time together.
Yes.
So, listen, let me tell you something. Do you know what we do after church? Like after sunset, everybody's sitting at the TV trying to figure out which movie we watching.
For real.
Nobody goes home. Nobody's running through the door. I remember, I think one of the people said, we were like, did you see so-and-so? And it was like, no, I didn't see it because I was waiting for us to watch it together. This is what God has done with this ministry. So, a lot of people have this thought that if you go to church, or if you're a pastor, or you're a minister, you got to be sitting up looking at only church movies or only things that Bible based. Yeah, but we like to have fun. We like to go to the movies. We like to do things that everyday people do as well. We just have separate decision makings that take place in our lives, and we let God govern our lives. So listen, come on and join us. We have a lot of fun. Oh my God. And we rag Ainsley. Let him say the wrong thing as a man. He's done.
Michael Ealy.
No, not only Michael Ealy. Mary J.
Blige in Power. Until the last 3 episodes. Until the whole series, until the last 3 episodes. She was horrible the whole series until the last 3. And I love me some Mary J. as a singer, as an entertainer. You give her a mic and give her some music, I love her. But you give her a script, oh no, Pastor Steph.
Remember, I keep telling y'all, everybody ain't got every calling. Go pass out a track. Yes. Go feed the hungry. Do something. Everything ain't for you. And like Shanti said, the last 3, he was like, okay, I gotta admit. And we were like,
out of 4 seasons, the last 3 episodes.
Right. Really, Ainsley? So we have a ball. We have a ball that we're inviting you to come on and join us. Listen, even as a spectator, it was hilarious last rapid fire. Hilarious. We cracked up laughing. And you don't have to actually participate. Just come and be a spectator. Get your popcorn. Because we do eat popcorn and drink juice or soda. Like
except for Brother Ainsley. He's banned from eating anything.
He can't eat anything that rattles. See what I'm talking about? You missed all of this. The very first episode, man, I don't know. He has some high-powered headsets and everything he did.
I don't even have anything that loud next to me, Pastor Steph. I was about to demonstrate. I don't even have anything around me that's that loud that I can rattle. Oh wait, I do. Wait, I do. All you heard was talk, Pastor Steph.
Well, you know, we've been watching this movie and
and this still is nowhere near as loud. I'm mad. This isn't really as loud. It was so loud. It was so loud. It took 5 minutes for us to get his attention. We were like, hello. We can't hear each other. Hello. Stop rattling. All you heard.
And he wasn't even moving. We couldn't see him moving. So we couldn't imagine what was going on. We were like, what are you over there doing? They don't have this amplified sound in Madison Square Garden, Ainsley. What you doing over there?
Oh,
it was hilarious. God. So you've missed all of this. So listen, miss no more. Join us tonight, Wednesday, 7:30. Normally we're on Thursdays, but like I said, I'm like behind time now. I'm on my way to a conference, so I'm not available tomorrow night, but we didn't want to miss this opportunity because we're really trying to get these awards off and we're trying to get, all of you, something additional. We haven't been on in a while. With the preparation of our women's conference, we were not on. So listen, make sure you hit that subscribe channel. Yes. Make sure subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. You don't have to remember every time we tell you we're doing something. And if I miss, if I'm engaged in what we're talking about in this episode, I may miss even making the announcement. So listen, also, check this out. It's on, wait, Shantice, I just realized that's on this channel. That includes engagement.
Yes.
And top fan. Yes. I just realized that. So the top fan and top engager comes in with anything on this channel. So it's not just for It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. It's anything we have. They're going to give us that statistic for, okay? So, all right, Shantice, I'm signing up out of here. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit as you go through your day. Be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew, the ladies, for coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and keeping that chat room alive. Whew, please don't miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to anyone. Until tonight, God spares, where we'll be running my 2 cents rapid fire. Whether you have, registered to actually participate, be ready to watch it so you can actually participate the next time. Come on as a spectator. We would love to have you. And again, as a reminder, it is included in your top fan and engagement possibility. All right. If I do not see you tonight, God spares, make sure you're on tomorrow morning and every day from Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Until the next time, I love you.